Hello, young man. I'm here to talk to you about something that's extremely important in our lives. Conflict management. You see, as a vigilante, I've had my fair share of dealing with difficult situations. And I've learned that it's not just about fighting the bad guys, but also about staying calm and composed under pressure. The value of conflict management is something that can benefit anyone, regardless of their profession or walk of life. When we're faced with a conflict, our initial reaction is often to become defensive or aggressive. But as I've learned through my experiences, that's not usually the best approach. Instead, it's essential to take a step back, assess the situation, and think clearly about the best course of action. This is where the art of conflict management comes in. Conflict management is about being able to navigate difficult situations in a way that's constructive and respectful. It's about being able to listen to the other person's perspective, even if you disagree with them, and finding a way to resolve the issue that works for everyone involved. This requires a high level of emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and communication skills. One of the most critical aspects of conflict management is staying calm under pressure. When we're in a heated situation, our emotions can get the better of us, leading us to react impulsively and say or do things that we might later regret. But if we can learn to manage our emotions and stay calm, we can think more clearly and respond in a way that's more constructive. As someone who's been in countless high-pressure situations, I can attest to the importance of staying calm. When I'm facing off against a villain, I need to be able to think on my feet and come up with a plan that will keep me and others safe. If I let my emotions get the better of me, I risk making a mistake that could have serious consequences. So, how can you develop this skill? Well, it starts with self-awareness. You need to be able to recognize when you're feeling stressed or anxious and take steps to manage those emotions. This can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths, counting to 10, or stepping away from the situation for a moment. Another crucial aspect of conflict management is active listening. When we're in a conflict, it's easy to get caught up in our own perspective and forget to listen to the other person. But if we can learn to listen actively, we can gain a better understanding of their perspective and find common ground. Active listening is about more than just hearing the words that the other person is saying. It's about paying attention to their tone, body language, and underlying concerns. It's about asking questions and seeking clarification to ensure that you understand their perspective. And it's about responding in a way that shows you've heard and understood what they've said. In addition to staying calm and listening actively, it's also essential to approach conflicts with empathy and an open mind. When we're in a conflict, it's easy to get caught up in our own perspective and forget that the other person has their own set of concerns and needs. But if we can approach the situation with empathy and an open mind, we can find a way to resolve the issue that works for everyone involved. Now, I know that conflict management isn't always easy. There will be times when you feel like you're at a dead end and you don't know how to resolve the issue. But the key is to stay calm, listen actively, and approach the situation with empathy and an open mind. As I've learned through my experiences, conflict management is a skill that takes time and practice to develop. It's not something that you can learn overnight, but with persistence and dedication, you can become a master of conflict management. So, how can you apply these skills in your own life? Well, it starts with being more mindful of your own emotions and behaviors. When you're in a conflict, take a step back and assess the situation. Ask yourself what you're feeling and why. And think about how you can respond in a way that's constructive and respectful. It's also essential to practice active listening and empathy. When you're in a conversation, make sure to listen carefully to what the other person is saying. Ask questions and seek clarification to ensure that you understand their perspective. And respond in a way that shows you've heard and understood what they've said. In addition to these skills, it's also important to learn how to navigate different types of conflicts. There will be times when you're in a conflict with someone who is being aggressive or confrontational. And there will be times when you're in a conflict with someone who is being passive or avoidant. In each of these situations, it's essential to approach the conflict in a way that's respectful and constructive. When dealing with someone who is being aggressive or confrontational, it's essential to stay calm and composed. Avoid getting defensive or matching their level of aggression. Instead, listen actively and respond in a way that's calm and respectful. When dealing with someone who is being passive or avoidant, it's essential to be patient and understanding. Avoid putting pressure on them or trying to force them to confront the issue. Instead, create a safe and supportive space for them to open up and share their concerns. In addition to these skills, It's also important to learn how to manage conflicts in different contexts. There will be times when you're in a conflict at work, and there will be times when you're in a conflict at home, and there will be times when you're in a conflict with someone who has a different cultural or social background. In each of these situations, it's essential to approach the conflict in a way that's sensitive to the context and the people involved. When dealing with a conflict at work, it's essential to be professional and respectful. Avoid taking the conflict personally, and focus on finding a solution that works for everyone involved. When dealing with a conflict at home, it's essential to be empathetic and understanding. Avoid getting defensive or dismissive, and focus on finding a solution that works for everyone involved. And when dealing with someone from a different cultural or social background, it's essential to be sensitive to their perspective and experiences. Avoid making assumptions or stereotypes, and focus on finding a solution that works for everyone involved. As I've learned through my experiences, conflict management is a complex and nuanced skill that requires a high level of emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and communication skills. But with practice and dedication, you can become a master of conflict management and navigate even the most difficult situations with ease. So, remember that conflict management is a skill that takes time and practice to develop. Be patient with yourself, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. With persistence and dedication, you can become a pro at conflict management and achieve your goals. And if you feel this talk helpful, don't forget like and subscribe. And if you want to be a more grateful person, you can donate on the Patreon account. Link on description. See you soon, friend.